friends everywhere, and welcome to FCTV's Poetic License, February 2023. This is an open mic virtual where we share live original poetry, prose, comedy, and acoustic music. My name is Donna Scheer, and tonight's suggested theme for the month is self-love. Thank you so very much, Tony Sedera, for us at Poetic License. He is our tireless producer who leads us through the development, taping, and editing of this program. And thank you, FCTV, for providing high quality broadcasting, events, and classes. This year, oh my goodness, is FCTV's 30th anniversary. Woohoo! There's plans in the works to have celebrations galore. So we invite you to stay tuned to FCTV as the grand plans unroll for the anniversary. There's so much good that comes from this nonprofit organization. There's collaborations with other nonprofits, live events, town meetings, local sports, artful showcases, and more. FCTV would appreciate any support you can give the organization. One way you can do this is by joining the FCTV family. Again, membership is still only $30 a year. So, hello, dear performers. Here you are, ready and willing to inform and delight us with the fruits of your own creativity and your own self-love. When I read your name, unmute your mic. Please repeat your name. There's a 4-minute time slot. Duos combine both their times into one performance. So I'm going to start us off. You know, I chose this theme, and then I had the darndest time getting some poems written, which is a very telling thing. So I'm going to start us off with something that I actually had been working on for a while, and it fits in with the theme. The poem is called, it's a poem parable. It's a parable poem, How to Live with a Dragon. And the quote is, guilt is a dragon that guards the toxic waste of the past. In the moment she was born, a dragon hatchling fell from nest into her openness, his scales already hardening into armor. Tiny wisps of smoke broke out of his nostrils, hinting at blazes yet to billow. In their minds, they grew intertwined. No one there to teach them that feelings are not facts. Along the way, they heard the same ugly words hurled at her, words which smashed like china plates against her sensitivity. Words like idiot, imbecile, dumbhead, Dumkopf. Both assumed these syllables were the truth. Although she often wept, hungry for attention, she embraced the words. The dragon craved power, felt justified in using the same words as weapons. Little by little, she grew smaller, withdrawn, bowed, near invisible, while the dragon grew more powerful. Greedy for power, he knew her so well, it was easy to steal her strength. After all, dragons do what dragons do. But there came a day when Grace moved in with her sunshine life, her understanding, the healing power of nature, walks, talks, hugs, and a clear, shining mirror, which she held up to the girl. And the girl saw she was neither invisible nor worthless. It's hard to give up a dragon, Grace said, especially such a selfish one. You cannot fight his fire with more fire. It only makes him stronger. And you must not slay him. You and he are one. Share his power with a gentle approach. And so the dragon was defanged with her forgiveness, calmed with unconditional love. Using a softened voice, she apportioned a much smaller space in her openness, freeing him only when she needed the energy of anger to kindle honest change. And so they lived happily joined and authentically ever after. Thanks, everybody. I love speaking in parables. Okay, let's see what we got. Who's up next? Wayne Stuke, yay! And he's got his guitar. You.
Hello. Nice job with that poem.
Thanks, Wayne.
I don't need an introduction, I don't think, for this self-love song. I think it'll explain itself as I go along. I guess it's a little bit personal here, and I am having a little fun once in a while also in this thing, so bear with me here. I hope you can hear the guitar. I can't tell if you can. You okay? Okay, great. I taught AP Psych for 26 years. I just got out my Psych Central self-love checklist today. 14 questions, 2 points for yes, 1 point for sometimes, and zip for a no. I thought, let's have a little time, little fun, thought, and I guess I'll give it a go. I'm still happy when I look in the mirror. Same weight, gray hair, no wrinkles, oh yeah. Forgive yourself for making mistakes. Sure, I'll tell you what happened just the other day. Tore up a 38-line song written 2 weeks ago that I'll never play. Found myself on February 22nd. I hope I got a bit of one to play. Comfortable in my own skin. Sure, I'll take a worthwhile challenge for something I'm interested in. Even if I fail, I'm not upset, 'cause it's not about the win. How do I handle criticism? Easy if it's constructive, given a respectful way. Lovable, aw shucks, sure says the family and some lifetime friends. And when a bad blood and mood come out, take the musical assistance from a long run. I do it alone. When I make important decisions, I make a list of pro and cons. Then I ask for heavenly intervention until the panic attack is gone. I'll say no to people if I don't want to do something. Just not too often to the wife. As you can probably understand, 'cause I prefer a happy life. I recognize I'm not perfect. Listen more to my wife. Try to create less household messes and lessen some domestic strife. I'm adding value to others' lives. Well, 4 years of teaching and coaching, only 4 years retired. But I've joined so many groups and organizations right now. On the weekend, I'm really tired. What do I do for my memory and my physical health to stay more alive? I run, hike, ski, read, and sail and swim, yet doctor says my cholesterol's a bit too high for him. So I'm warming down with the sweets. I'm listening the cheese curls, even though I'm fit and trim. Am I kind to myself when things don't work out as planned? My wife said, "Where's that song you wrote 2 weeks ago?" I swore a bit, I ripped it up, and then I threw it in the garbage can. Don't worry, I feel better now. 2 days left. I think I might have a new plan. Does my voice and opinion matter? Only if you ask for it. I can be myself in a group, and I'll tell you what I think on matters of real importance to everyone. I rarely miss a beat. Now the scoring. What? Come on. 24 of 28 points, and they call me a self-love beginner? Let's see, less than 24 and you're a mess? 21, no, 28, you're a self-love guru winner. I need cheese, beer, and chocolate. I need it right now. No, Mary, I don't need a counselor. Who wrote this test? Anyhow, I want another opinion. Oh, I'm going out for a long run now.
Yay! Thank you. I would say you are a very self-aware person.
I couldn't believe that's the actual quiz, you know. If you get a 24 out of 28 points, you need help still. And if you have to be perfect and you're a guru, and if you get a 23 points out of 28, which is a good thing, a very good thing, you're a mess. That's what they call you, a mess. So I used to give this to my kids, and I forgot in AP Psych, and I forgot how much they hated it because nobody ever passed.
Well, I hate it too. Because I was a born perfectionist when I was growing up. I like a lot of things you mentioned, like writing down pros and cons and, a lot of good advice in that
Yeah,
piece.
it's,
So thank you. Thank you.
thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Patricia Austin, how you doing tonight?
Hi there. I'm Patricia Austin. I thought it was further down the line, so good thing I'm here. I have 3 short poems in the theme of, or 2 short poems and a longer poem in the theme of self-love, which I agree with you, Donna. I had to ask Tony, what are we doing? Because I couldn't even remember the theme. So there you go. Self-portrait, a single haiku, near proximity to the true me. I think and speak in poetry. Pieces of dreams and expectations. I saw the apple and the orange as one thing. I thought that it was possible to soar and sing and have just because attraction provided a path. Now I sit in powerlessness and sort. From this position of germinating wisdom may emerge purpose. I am not defined by whether I have cable or I don't. I am not defined by the money I have or don't have. I am not defined by the age and shimmer of my car or the well-worn clothes collected over a decade. I am not defined. Yet to today's world, that is all that can be seen. Somehow, greater discernment has been blocked and clogged and forced into forgetfulness of who we really are and why we're really here and the nobility of our being in the wholeness of God. Someone, in quotation marks, looks and sees and defines us. Are we useful to the flow of consumer goods and services? Are we useful to the program that says this is reality? Asking deeper questions only hurts us and frightens those to whom they are asked. But we are far too big, a tiny little world, to accommodate the breadth and depth of expansive human souls, questioning profit and redirecting resources, and eventually taking from the hoarders who swear there is not enough to go around. Really, for here we all are together in the world of all that is. That's it.
3 lovely pieces, but I especially like that last one. Not being defined by all the material things that has become so many people's God nowadays. it's important to talk about that. It's important to think about that. So I really, really like that last one. Actually, I would like a copy of that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay. You're welcome. And I'm Patricia.
Patricia.
Sorry.
John Jackson.
Unmute myself and talk. Hello, my
Okay.
name's John Jackson, and I do lyrics of protest, political stuff. So let's look back at the news of the last month. Tyree Nichols wasn't home Friday night. Police fought when he put up no fight. And only a dullard thinks driving while colored is as safe as driving while white. Mid-America, midday at full noon. One doesn't expect a full moon. Is it checking the weather? Has it gone off its tether or a Chinese surveillance balloon? This Arctic blast, can we just please send to Florida their turn to freeze? The reason we planned this is Governor DeSantis doesn't like people with degrees. The season is nearly complete. Americans watching Americans compete. Football in this land is held in the hand. Elsewhere, football's handled with feet. The one for whom your heart swoons, give them flowers, candies, cards with cartoons, but do not surprise by filling the skies. We've shot down too many balloons. In Georgia, a special grand jury found no voter fraud, so don't worry. Found evidence compelling of witnesses not telling the whole truth, i.e. perjury. A lawsuit has opened the box on that network of Rupert Murdoch's. Trump lost the election meant viewer defection, hence fan fiction featured at Fox. Try saying that 4 times fast. Joe Biden has gone to Ukraine for reasons we don't need to explain. Like Joe, I believe the city of Kyiv must remain outside Moscow's domain. Joe's Ukraine trip called Cloak and Dagger. War zone via Warsaw, double bagger. Donald's friend Vladimir must have been sad to hear Joe Biden has stolen his swagger. You can tell when MT Green talks that her thinking is outside the box. And if her solution will be constitutional is a question not debated on Fox. Jimmy Carter is in hospice, that's sad. But 98 years isn't bad. His biography shows ample leadership by example, best ex-president we've ever had. Now, on January 26th, we taped the last version of Poetic License, and it was announced that the theme would be self-love. I had to stop from laughing out loud. Actually, no, I think I was muted and probably did. Because that morning, I was actually in town in Falmouth for a discussion group where one person went off on some tale, and he said at the end, "Thank you for listening to my solipsistic rant." And so he was asked, what is a solipsist? Well, a solipsist is someone who believes that everything is in the mind. There is no one else. It's all in the mind. And Steve asked, how does that differ from a narcissist? Hence the following. We were talking about solipsist as it differs from narcissist. The former will find others only in mind. The latter doesn't mind others exist. Thank you.
Oh, that was a good one. And I'm so happy that you're still sharing about Ukraine, because it's too important to keep out of our minds. You know, the news moves on, and you know, things get left behind, things that are still happening, still our attention.
The day after Washington Post had a headline saying that people were calling his trip cloak and dagger, and the rest of the limerick just fell right together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Susan Carlson.
Hey there.
Hello.
John is in rare form, I'm telling you. And what a word guy. Thank you for the word, word of the day. I'd like to dedicate this poem to dear poets I have known, including one who passed Sunday from her home by the sea, and one who recently told me, "You see things." This poem is called Sea. She sings just for the sheer contagious joy of it. She weaves words with the movement of her eyes. She swims into the depths of them all, and then with a playful flick of her mermaid tail, she shows us who she is. She holds us in our sorrow, even as she holds her own. She lands upon the shore as lightly as if she'd flown. She soars with birds when they float on high. She loves with abandon, yet is always nigh. Her flaws and her mistakes flow into the compost of her heart and soul, transforming into nutrients that make her whole. Sometimes they grow green weeds, and sometimes brilliant flowers, and both feed body and spirit with a spectrum of magical powers. They dance in a race with grief and regret, and the rising sun before it can set, and the flowing wind choreographs all these, from newborn buds to waving trees. She dances the dance and flows with the breeze. She awakes water's mirror. It's me that she sees. So, thank you. This topic of self-love, like you were saying, Donna, and I think Patricia too, it was a bit challenging at first. I began by wanting to write something to encourage others to love themselves. No, I argued with myself, this is meant to be about loving yourself. So once I decided to treat myself as I would any other loved one, the poem flowed easily, kind of like a Valentine to myself or a self-portrait. And then I used my poetic license to expand these two words because we're all connected like the flowing sea. When I used the word she, it was the generic she and could represent any being or gender. And the word sea could represent a vision of any sense. And now, in memory of Marion Homer Painter, journalist, poet, poetry professor, music lover, and spiritual seeker with deep past and future family ties in the arts and ways of the world. Dear Marion, painter of words among songs of birds, as you make your way home, no more pondering how, Homer's Odyssey belongs to you now. Thank you.
So lyrical. Your work is always so lyrical. It's funny because when you said it's called Sea, I was pondering, I wonder which sea she means.
Thinking Cape Cod Sea. It could be either. I mean, that's part of what I try to do with every word, put jam as many meanings in there as I can. Thanks.
That was great. And I've heard the word mirror 3 times so far tonight. It's interesting. There's always some thread that seems to be passing through the group, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Susan. Maria Silverman.
Hello.
Hello.
I have to say your earrings are making me very happy. Like little valentines. This is actually a poem that I wrote a few years ago when I was looking back through my poems. It was making me think about how my feelings of love towards myself, or lack thereof, have roots and past things, and kind of how we come to our habits of self-tenderness and self-regard. So here it goes. I love you, love you, love you was Dad's turn of phrase. Your trinity was the 3 pats of dismissal. I am done hugging you, or that's enough now, or I am cooking. You didn't often say I love you at all, except in Easter baskets festooned with wired ribbon and department store sweets, paper mache rabbits and sugared fruits, in my layette preserved in archival tissue, pressed and labeled, in coal brought from Casablanca, in plates from Positano, in earrings from Istanbul, in silk robes from Singapore. That's why I collected you upon your passing into trunks of baccarat and cash pose, and used tapers and canisters of Jordan almonds and jars of turmeric. I gathered you in parts and pieces, in ink and gift tags labeled with the lace of your cursive. And here I am on the eve of a holiday, trapped in ritual and not the moment, caught in preparation and not pleasure, just as you did when you would disappear down a table runner laden with bounty and beauty, and we wouldn't see you for days, calling out, "Mother, where have you gone?" And now I throw open the doors of your French armoire to sift through Indian elephants and cake stands and bone bowls to look for a tea light for our jack-o'-lantern. And here you are, in the bottom of an old shoebox full of open cocktail napkins, a pile of old parties people told me to discard. Here you are, in a children's illustration from 1976, a note card I've never seen. My dearest Maria, Mama wanted you to have this present the morning of your birthday. Have a delicious party. I love you, love you, love you. Mama, happy birthday. The armoire fills with tears. You were never one to appear when I needed you. I was always chasing you across continents, off conference calls, calling you, calling you. You were never one to write in print, almost as if you were catering to my young eyes learning to read. Mama, Mama. I have also taught my child to call me that. He's calling me now. You were never one to say I love you, certainly not 3 times. That was Dad's phrase. And now I'm wondering, did you used to say it and forgot? Did he in fact get it from you? Did you once love me with that overwhelming abandon that makes you squeeze your baby or bite him? And now on this terrible day of contention, you give me this present of arriving, of speaking, of reaching out through the napkins, the bottom of the armoire, through the candles, through paper and mystery and lost arts and lost items and lost time and words. Thank you.
Well, that broke my heart. I had a mom who was not very demonstrative, so I'm afraid I empathized with it maybe a little too much. That was so beautiful, all the details, and the ability for you to put it into words this morning, of what might have been or could have been. You know, you kept using the word lost, lost, lost. It was a beautiful poem. Thank you so much. Oh my. Well, Galen and Jackson, you at least you're working together to follow something that profound.
Yes, that's very deeply moving. And hello, everyone. I have come to believe that for me, vital to self-love is keeping the child in me alive. And one of the best ways that I've found to do that is to just look outside or take a walk outside and take in the beauty of the natural world. And in particular, to have what I think of as a close encounter with that beauty. I grew up in Connecticut and in a white house that was surrounded by lawns and fields and woods and a big, beautiful meadow. And when I was, say, 6, 7 years old, one of my favorite things to do on a sunny summer afternoon was walk down through the waving grasses of that meadow to a little white house right in the middle of the meadow to go visit my next door neighbor and my beloved friend, Miss Olmsted. Now, Miss Olmsted lived alone in that little house, and she was the oldest person I knew. Oh, she was so old. I'm sure younger than I am now, but you know, I was 6. And I'd knock on her door and she would answer it looking as delighted to see me as I was to see her. And I knew just what she'd be wearing because she always wore exactly the same thing. She'd be wearing a white blouse and a long black skirt and a white apron and thick black stockings and sturdy black shoes. And you see, I knew a secret about Miss Olmsted because I was sure that she was a pilgrim, because we were studying the pilgrims in school. First grade, we had a big thick book with all these pictures in it. And to me, she looked like she walked right out of that book. So she'd invite me in and together we'd sit and we'd have tea and cookies in her little front parlor. And that little room was so wonderful. And the tea and cookies were so wonderful. And just she was so wonderful. But most wonderful of all for me was that after we'd have the tea and cookies, she'd take me outside and we would stand together on her little wooden front porch, just looking out at the waving grasses of the meadow on a golden summer afternoon. And then one of those afternoons, she showed me something. And then she taught me something that to me was so amazing. It was so full of magic that there was a moment when an electric thrill just flashed through my entire little body. And I was filled with this wild, reverent joy and gratitude. I was so in love with life, and I just loved being myself in that moment. It's a moment I can still feel. So much so that when I first heard Jackson Gillman use his beautiful phrase, close encounters of the natural kind, about 2 years ago, I just flashed right back to that moment. It came alive again in my body. And so I did what I often do at such moments. I wrote a song about that moment. Well, now Jackson and I have collaborated. And when I sing, he, who is a wonderful movement artist, physically interprets the song, this expressive movement, which brings it alive. As I watch him, I can feel that moment inside me again. And I want that to be true for you as well. So I'm going to invite Jackson to join me now. And as I sing, he's going to show you just what it was like for 6-year-old me when I had that precious close encounter of the natural kind. When I was 6 and 7, on a sunny summer's day, I'd wander through the meadow to a house just down the way. And old Miss Olmsted would invite me in for tea. And then we'd step outside on her little porch, for she had a gift for me. She had a special treasure that she wanted me to find. A close encounter of the natural kind. She'd put a seed right in my palm, and I'd hold out my hand, and I'd stand so still, I'd hardly breathe, and I'd wait for what might land. A flash of wings, a chickadee would snatch that little seed, and in taking, give me everything that a child could ever need. The most important treasure that a child could ever find. A close encounter of the natural kind. The pecking of a little beak, a chance to understand. A tiny little miracle had happened in my hand. As we grow big, do we lose sight of all those little things? The twinkling of the stars at night, or the flash of whirring wings, the pecking of a little beak so sharp against our skin. If we fall out of touch with these, oh, can we fall back in and taste the joys of everything that nature has designed? These close encounters of the natural kind. May we forever be as children. May we be never blind to these close encounters, these precious close encounters of the natural kind.
Yay! That was, what a collaboration. Oh my gosh. You know, Galen, everybody should have a Miss Olmsted in their childhood. Absolutely everybody. I had someone like that. I can tell that moment meant so much to you, that you put the details and the feelings into the song and into the story, and it was absolutely wonderful. I hope you tell that and sing that to children as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I want them to have a Miss Olmsted and to have these encounters and hold them close. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And Jackson, again, those magic hands of yours and your face and everything you do when you're speaking with your, with your whole being is just absolutely wonderful. So thank you guys both. I wish you many more wonderful collaborations. Well, my goodness. I've got one more poem. And how do I follow that? Well, I don't know. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi is someone that I've read a lot about. He really believed in the quality of flow. He talked about, when you and what you're doing become one, and the rest of the world and time, everything else goes away because you're so focused. I know Galen and Jackson, probably when you tell stories to children, you can see them looking at you, but you can also see the story playing out in their head because they're there, but they're there. They're so one with the song and the story. So anyway, thinking about flow and self-love, I am happiest if I'm singing. I am happiest if I'm writing poetry. I am happiest if I'm painting, all of the arts. And yeah, well, you're dancing too, but not so much anymore. but because I'm so engrossed, I've given my permission at my age to do a lot of the things that I absolutely love, things that feed me, that feed my soul, that feed my life, that make me feel like I understand myself. Maria said a word that I really like. She said, self-tenderness and regard. Yes, yes. So anyway, this poem is called Ode to Flow. And what I'm trying to do is describe what flow is for me. Ode to Flow. Almost like a mockingbird, beak raised, wings open-winged, loses himself in painting the air with an effortless oratorio. Almost like a squirrel, sassing my rat terrier from the top of the fence, his ruff at attention, mischief passing from unblinking eye to quivering nose. Almost like a blank canvas, my painter's brush oscillates between potted blossoms and pots of paint. Startled awake to an incandescent of pink blushing on the easel. Almost exactly how this hand of mine unlocks an aqueduct. Words sluice from a moving pen, as though this poem is writing itself. And that's my ode to flow. Oh, yes. Well, the end of another well-spent and beloved evening with people I so admire.
Were we going to hear from Rosemary?
Oh, wait. Oh, Rosemary, you know what? You got added late, and so I must have skipped right over it. It wasn't in the line. Rosemary Dunn Moeller. Oh, please, please. You know what? I'm blushing because I'm sorry. I've never forgotten someone before. You are unforgettable. Could you please share?
Actually, I'm really happy I didn't have to follow Galen and Jackson. I am thrilled because that was like, You guys were so fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, I'm Rosemary Dunn Moeller. And truth is, after 46 years of marriage, every February I write my husband a love poem, and it's usually to me as well as him because of the way things are. And this is from a couple years ago, but it's called Inseparably Entangled. By the way, I love you casually, sarcastically, privately, without too much outward show. For your own good, I protect your naive kindness by insinuating my skepticism into your emotional expressions. You are my metaphor, since I am in you, wrapped up, folded neatly, bound tightly as a sixth dimension, injected into your brain's pathways, synapses, so that you can't think without my ideas butting in. My memory cells generously recall words you never said, but should have. And I share these memories gladly whenever possible. Jokes get better when polished by both of us. I love you from the inside out, magnetically, seriously, and satirically. Or possibly it's you in my brain, my body, my being. I cannot separate myself from where you are and I am. I am your metaphor. We are us. I love you every way. And then when he does something that really, really gets me mad, like has an accident, and I have to feel the pain as well. I'll tell this one is, again, bedded in hydrangeas, which we have in front of the house. Hydrangeas lost most of their blue before being trampled by EMTs, strapping Lester to a backboard after falling 6 feet from a ladder, doing unneeded fix-ups alone outdoors, attaching a cast iron pig bracket for hanging plants. Stupid. Fury fueled my love for his body's welfare and consumed me. He lay beneath hydrangeas, thinking painfully until I returned home, found him, found my anger and vengefulness. I phoned it in. His second lower lumbar vertebra's broken. So stubborn, so competitive, ready to show me how unaged he is. I cried out, wailing to grown children. This is crazy, careless, completely without common sense. All anger from love and fear of loss, of time which has become so precious, of how to care for him, take care of him. He looked short in the wheelchair outside the hospital. He moved very slowly, stoned on painkillers. He walked up the front step into our house, our nest of warmth and satisfaction, and sat looking loved and hated by me. Coffee cups got half filled, elastic waistbands got worn all day, and exercise. The more painful, the better. 2 weeks of rage and well gifts of cookies calmed me. Improvements calmed me. Wine calmed me. Walking calmed me.
Well, you ended with self-love there. Oh my gosh. And the first poem, what a love poem. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
I hope he appreciates you and your sense of humor.
Most of the time.
That's good.
Thank you for remembering me.
Yeah, well, I apologize again. All right. This edited performance will be shown on FCTV's channel 13. Its YouTube channel, as well as Roku and Apple TV. Friends watching out there, if you would like to be a performer on Poetic License, please reach out and join us. We will welcome you with open arms and open ears and open hearts. You can sign up by sending a text to Tony. His email is tony@fctv.org. Our next Poetic License will be the fourth Thursday in March. That's March 23rd, 2023. Thank you again, Tony, for your wonderful help and for suggesting next month's theme. And that theme for March is recovery. Recovery. Think of all the many directions your work might take with that theme. Thank you, thank you, thank you, cherished performers. We love you each and every one for having the courage to create and share your beautiful talents with us. Tonight was an unbelievably wonderful evening. So thank you very much, everyone. Peace, and till we meet again, shine on.